Hello and welcome to my channel. I am Katie, the Mountain Mystic, and I'm so happy to be here with you today to be in practice, to be in conversation centered on what I like to speak to as sort of my core practice that I teach here in the Earth Embodiment space, in the New Earth Embodiment space. The practice that I start out every single circle guiding us through, the practice that I bring here routinely, and I'm bringing it through you once again because, for one, every time I bring it through, it's a little bit different. So if you've done it with me before, this will be a little bit different. It's always a little bit different. More than this, I bring it through to you today because I know that repetition, that is doing something over and over and over again, has a power that seems to have been forgotten in our modern world, right? In our modern world where everywhere you look, right, every sort of flick of the thumb as you scroll through YouTube or wherever else you are brings you something new. And we live in this age of, shall we call, I'm getting the words dopamine hijacking, right? Like, we have learned how to hijack the mind, how to get the mind to grasp at what is new, what is exciting, right? And that's what our minds are programmed to do, is we are wired for the new, for the exciting. And there's a beauty in that, right? There's a magic, a wonder in that, of being able to walk through life, like all the newness, all the excitement, all the wonder that is out there when we step into new spaces. And also this, shall we call it a lost art at this point, as I record this in the year 2025, this way of being where we have lost our grounding, right? Where we have lost that ritual, that routine, that repetition, the power, the magic that comes through when we find those practices that we can do routinely, whether that's every day, whether that's multiple times a day. For me, I'm not an everyday kind of person. There's very little that I do every day that I do routinely because I am someone, I'm one of those people. I am a 7X Sagittarius. I talk about this a lot. I'm not just a Sagittarius, right? Sagittarius being the sign that's like the fire arrow ripping through the skies, like going off to find the new, right? Uncharted territory adventure. That's Sagittarius. But I'm not just a Sagittarius. I'm a 7X Sagittarius. And if you're not into astrology, you may not know what that means, but that's okay. So I say this because I'm coming to you as someone who loves the new, loves the exciting, loves to learn new things, loves to try out all the different new exciting techniques. And as I've learned, and now as I teach, we have to ground it in. We cannot live our lives continuously jumping from one new thing to the next, to the next, to the next. Right? This is so much of what encapsulates our world right now. We live in this age of technology, right? We're moving into the age of Aquarius. It's this space, and I'm feeling this, right? If you can see my hands, it's like this openness to the new, to all the exciting new technologies that are coming in, whether it's technology in what I might call my traditional sense, right? I'm an engineer and I used to work in the world of tech. Also in spiritual technologies, right? Energetic, embodiment practice, right? There's all these different forms of new that are coming in. And we live in a world today where, because we've sort of gotten to the heart of marketing, right? And social media and everything knows how to get in there with a hook, take our attention, guide our attention to the next new thing. what happens is we live in an ungrounded world, right? All of this and feeling into this kind of opening up to the new, what it does is it sort of strips us out of our grounding. It pulls us up out of a grounded, embodied, skillful experience here on Earth. And what we are doing here in this embodiment, in this Earth embodiment, in this new Earth embodiment space, is yes, we are open. We are so open to the new. I just held circle before this, and we spent so much time in there opening up to the, whatever we want to call it, to the divine, to the light, to the new, whatever words there resonate for you. Opening up to the new, the exciting that's coming in as we ground it in, as we ground it in to reality, as we ground it in a way that's aligned, that serves, that is meaningful, that creates change that matters, that our world is ready for, that our world is in need of. This is what this new Earth embodiment work is that we're doing. We are being in those spiritual spaces. We are being in those new earthy spaces. You know, whatever words, whatever lingo. Maybe you have different lingo for the spaces you find yourself in. New human, that's a new one that's coming in. This newness, we are grounding it in to reality. And the way we do this is through embodiment work. Because as the human being that you are embodied. You are here as the human self, as the human body, as the human being that you are. And as I believe it, and as I see it, we are not here to be lifted off this planet into some high and mighty spiritual realm where everything is ultimately blissful. Maybe that's your path someday, so it's probably happening after death. Here, we get to be human. We get to be embodied. We get to experience reality for what it is, as it shows up uniquely through each of us. And in each moment that life unfolds, we get to experience the beauty, the magic, the wonder, the excitement that's there, as well as the mundane, as well as the pain, this discomfort, the crunchiness of life. We get to experience it all. That's the human experience. And here in this Earth embodiment, earthly embodiment, new Earth embodiment, whatever words you want to use, they're just words trying to point at the heart of this practice that we're going to do here in just a moment. Just taking a deep breath. Taking a deep breath into self. Feeling into self. Feeling into your body. Maybe you need to move a little bit, like shrug your shoulders, wiggle a little bit, shake it out a little bit. And or maybe use your breath to create some movement in your rib cage, your abdomen. But let yourself be guided into self right now. The individual sovereign being that you are, embodied in this body that you are, for all its beauty, for all its wonder, for all its pain, discomfort. Whatever crunchiness is here, let it be here. Whatever light and joy is here, let it be here. Just breathing into self. No need to change anything in this moment. It's being present with what is here. Being present with what is here as self, as the self that you are. It's the very human self that you are, for all that you are. You don't have to get your head involved here. You might try to put labels to what you are, to what you're feeling. There's no need to do that. We're just feeling, we're just sensing, we're just experiencing what is. Calling upon your breath to help you stay focused. Your breath being this powerful tool to guide you inward into self. Then from this space, we're going to start to play a little bit in this new Earth Embodiment Practice that I so often teach. Knowing that there's so many ways to do this practice with me these days, I bring it to you from time to time, and I'll say kind of simple ways here on YouTube. We just did this in an hour and a half long New Earth Embodiment Circle. We got to go so deep, got to weave so much wisdom, talk about how this practice impacts us moment to moment, like in the actual experience. We got to play with how this practice moves us into our lived experience out there in life. You know, whether you're at work or whether you're cooking dinner with your partner or playing with your kids or being out in service to the world, wherever you are, right? We do this practice because it translates into life. This isn't about cutting ourselves off from life as we, put ourselves in a room and just do our own internal work. Yes, that can be a powerful part of the practice too, to have your own time for your own internal work. And this practice is about moving out into the world, being in the world, the ripple effect, the way you shine your light on the world, the way you are in service to the world. All the things. It's about all the things, which makes this practice so powerful. So going back in, breathing into self, calling upon your breath to feel into the expansion of your rib cage, maybe the expansion of your abdomen. Breathing all the way down into your root. Feeling your feet or your seat in connection to the ground beneath you. Feeling into that connection point with the floor, with whatever surface is holding you here in this moment. This ground beneath you that is holding you here in this moment. Bringing your attention to this space and feeling it. Feeling it in and as your body. Force of gravity holding you down upon this point in space and time. And from this space, what we're going to do is actually start to drop deeper. As we do this, know that this isn't a pushing, it isn't a forcing. It's more like a getting out of the way. Can you get out of the way? Can you let go of anything you think this should be, you want it to be? And allow yourself to be guided downward. Down through your root, down through the floorboards, down through the foundation, until you find that earthly ground. Inviting in visuals if they come. Don't demand that they come, but being open to any visuals that may arise. As you drop your consciousness down upon this earth, down to the dirt, the rock, the roots, the soil. What is here in this ground beneath you? Allowing yourself to drop down deeper. as you descend down into the earth. Again, this is an allowing. Let yourself be guided here. Again, inviting in visuals as well as maybe sensation in your body. Or you may just get hit with knowings. It's a powerful way to receive guidance here too. So you're guided down into this connection with Earth herself. Let Earth herself guide you. Let her show you the connections here. Let her gift you. As you're down in this space, perhaps you want to invoke the root system that lives down here. This root system that connects yourself, your body, down into the earth beneath you. Let her show you this root system. This root system is one that connects you down into earth and through this earth into the whole web of life that you are part of. If you visualize these connections, maybe you feel these connections in your body. Let the earth guide you. Let the earth show you. Let the earth gift you here. Feel free to stay here for as long as you want. You can hit that pause button if you want to hang out longer. But for now, we're going to start to bring this practice to a close. Taking your time as you start to rise back up into self. Taking your time here as you breathe into self to bring your full attention, your full awareness, your consciousness into self. As you rise back up into self, you may want to do this with a heart full of gratitude. A heart full of gratitude that you can pour through you, down through your root, down into the earth, to gift the earth for all that she does for you, for anything she just did in this short practice. Continuing to come back into self, knowing that in doing so, you are not severing these connections. This connection to the earth is always here. We are simply bringing consciousness to the fact that it is here, it does exist. That earth is always holding you, always supporting you, always nourishing you. And that you are always in connection to all of life on planet Earth. Yes, there are some connections that are stronger. There are some communities, some ecosystems, fellow humans, there are animals, plants, forms of life that you have stronger, closer connections to. But knowing you are always in connection to the whole of life, a whole entire planet Earth, this whole web of life on planet Earth. You, your own individual sovereign being in connection to this whole web of life, breathing into self here. Breathing into self here. As you remember this truth of who you are, sovereign is the being that you are in connection to the whole of life. And as you're here, inward in self, perhaps you sort of open up to Maybe you do this through your crown, maybe you do this through your heart. Opening up to any light or any wisdom that wants to show you what this means. Bring this down to earth, ground this in a way that's meaningful in your life. Where are the places you show up in life where this comes through? The sovereign being that you are, in connection to it all. As this happens, I'll share the words that I'm getting. It has to do with these narratives of separation that we've been taught, that it's me versus you, that it's my group versus your group, that it's our group versus another group, that it's humanity separate from nature. And these are all falsities, because although we are distinct individuals, and although we do live and breathe and act within certain systems, right? Certain families, relationships, communities, the whole of life is interwoven in ways that go so far deeper than our minds will ever know. And our minds might weave stories of separation, and based on these stories, we might weave other stories about how we should act, how we should feel. But I find, as I continue to be shown and experience for myself, that we are in a time, we are in an age where we have to be in a practice of remembering how interconnected we are, how we live and breathe and act as a whole on this planet Earth, a whole web of life. What gets to happen when we act from this space? What gets to happen when we tune in to any experience we're having in life from this space? Yes, remembering that you are sovereign, you are whole unto yourself. You have agency, you get to make the decisions that you want in your life. You get to have boundaries. You get to honor those boundaries. And you are part of a whole that expands so far beyond self. Let this expansion be shown to you, right? So it's this starting in self and feeling into self as you're guided, expanding beyond self into the relationships, the families, the other groups of humans that are part of your life, the animals, the plants, the ecosystems that make up part of your life. And continuing out further, the ecosystems that make up your food chain. The spaces that create the objects that fill up your house, the humans that design, create all these things that fill your life. All the ecosystems across the world that are impacted to varying degrees by your choices, by your needs. If you feel that one as a heavy one, which I do. Perhaps you call in some light to it. Let that statement, the way your choices and your needs impact this world, fill that one with light. Let it flow down into you. Bring light to this space. All the ways that you show up in this world that affect this world, bringing light to that. Just doing it energetically here. You don't have to make sense of it in this moment. You don't need your mind to be on board. Like, what does that mean? Just calling in light to those spaces, the ways that you impact ecosystems, different forms of life all over the world. Bringing light down into this space. When I do this, it's like letting this light pour down through my crown, down into my heart. Letting it fill your heart. Letting it fill your whole being. As it fills your whole being, know that it's bringing you into higher alignment with the ways that you can show up to support this world, to nourish this world, to bring more light to this world. Let it feel good. And if it's crunchy, let it feel crunchy. Allow yourself to feel what's here to be felt. Breathing this in as you embody this light. I'm going to start to bring this practice to a close. We went a lot further than I expected. We're just here on YouTube. I was like, this is just going to be really simple. Just going to do a nice, short, simple practice because YouTube. This isn't one of my big circles I hold. But we got to go pretty deep here. What a treat is that? Taking some time to come back into self, recognizing that we did go deep here. So if you were taken somewhere on some beautiful journey, or even if you weren't, honoring that this is big energy here. So taking your time as you turn back into self, breathe into your body, maybe you need to pat yourself down. Coming back into self. Knowing that as you're coming back into self, you are still connected in all those beautiful and powerful ways to all of life, expanding beyond self. If this practice spoke to you, whether you feel that now or maybe you feel that in the upcoming days, know that there's so much more where this came from. Knowing that there are so many different ways you can tune into this practice. Yes, here on YouTube. Also in Circle, held on Zoom multiple times a month. You can find out more about that at upwardslopes.com/circle. I have guided practices in the form of workshops, freebies, all over at upwardslopes.com. Go get them. They're there just waiting for you to dive in deeper. There are more of these videos on YouTube. Just allow yourself to be guided to the ones that are most meant for you. Let yourself be guided into the spaces where you can deepen and expand this practice so that you can show up in life more fully grounded, connected within self, more skillfully moving through life in all the ways that you show up in the world. The work you do, as well as the way you are out in life, right? Your presence, it matters. It's impactful. As always, there's so much more I could say, but I'm going to close us down here today. I thank you so much for being with me in practice. If there's anything to share from this space, leave a comment. Let me know you're listening. Let me know how this impacted you. Let me know how this is impacting your life. I thank you so much for hanging out with me in this space today, and I look forward to catching you in whatever the next space is that we find ourselves in.